Hey there programmers, welcome to Educate. Today we'll be diving into stacks data structures in Python. Please make sure that you have watched previous videos based on lists. So now let's start. Okay, before we even get to the code, let's just look at a basic stack. Whenever we use the English word stack, it simply means that we are stacking items on top of one another. For example, if you can just see here, we have got a stack of bricks. So this is a stack of bricks because these are bricks that are piled on top of one another. I mean, look at two bricks at the bottom. You've got one brick in the medium and you've got one brick at the top. So this is a stack of bricks. Okay. So now these stack data structures, how do stacks even work? Let's just say I've got another brick here and I want to add this brick to this stack. Whenever I want to add this brick to this stack, I have to follow a certain principle known as the LIFO principle. So the LIFO principle says it's a last in, first out. But what does that even mean in the first place? So if I were to add this brick on top of this stack, I would have to add it on top of the other bricks, of course. So basically, when an item is added to a stack, it's on top of the other item. Okay, in this case, the brick is the item that we're talking about. So in fact, it is the last item, or it is the item on the top of the stack. All right. So basically, when you are adding an item, you add it to the top of the stack because you just want to pile on top of the other items that are already there. Okay, but now let's say that I just want to try and remove this brick. If I want to remove a brick from the stack, I have to start by removing the brick that is on the top. Let's just say right now I want to remove a brick from the stack. I cannot go and remove the bricks here at the bottom, guys. I mean, really, we have to remove the brick on the top of the stack. So we say that this is a first out principle. Means that whenever we remove the brick that is on top of the stack. So this is the principle of how stacks work in real life, because whenever we are staking items or whenever we are staking stuff, we have to follow the principle whereby the last item, it is the one that is going to be added on top. Okay, so because in this case, this is like saying last in. Last in simply means that when we're adding an item to a stack of other items, it must be on top of the other ones. When we are removing an item from a stack, it must be removed. The first item that is on top of the stack must be the one that is being removed. But in this case, we're talking about bricks. How can we try to apply this in software and applications? All right. So stacks as data structures, they work the following way. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to go to a browser and show you one application of stacks. So when I go to my user browser like this is Google, and when I go to my Google browser here, I can type a couple of things on this tab. Maybe let me just say I want to search about this guy known as Educate. Okay, so this is me searching Educate, which is one of the best YouTube channels ever. You see this one that's found on number 2 here. All right, let me just say I get into this channel. So this is the channel I'm viewing it. All right, so in this tab, I'm viewing the channel, which is youtube.com/educate. So if you try to undo here, let me just say I want to undo an option, or I want to go back to the previous tab. If I just click this arrow, I can go back. It also uses stacks, or the program actually uses stacks to be able to do that. So stacks are really applicable in our daily lives, because the moment I click go back, then it will go back to the previous one. It actually removes the item on the top, which was this channel here that I've removed. Okay, so now let's just try to take this into code and try to implement stacks. All right, so when we want to try and implement stacks, I'm going to just use VS Code here. We are going to use the list implementation. Basically, remember that the data structures that are most recommended to use are lists. In most cases, we usually use lists as the data structures to be able to construct a conceptual data structures such as stacks and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to just say I'm going to use object-oriented programming, whereby I define a class, and then the class I'm going to call it stacks, and then I'm going to put a colon so that I can try and give my class a definition. Remember, a class is a blueprint where objects are actually made. So basically, this class must show all the methods of making an object and all the attributes of an object. If you don't understand this concept, please revisit object-oriented programming first before proceeding with this video, because it would really help you. Okay, so now in the stacks class, first of all, we need to be able to define a constructor. So we need to start with the constructor method, and you guys already know that the constructor method, we use the init method. The init method is just to construct an object under this class, okay? So we have to use the self keyword to be able to refer to a specific object. I'm just going to show you an example of how do we actually mean when you say that this self is referring to a specific object. So let me just say I'm defining a constructor. So the constructor method or the constructor function, it is used to create an object. So if I'm saying that I'm creating a stack, in this case, this class is a class of stacks, right? So the object that I'm trying to create, I'll just call it a stack. So if I want to create a stack, I'm going to say self.items. So self.items is assigned to an empty list. Okay, why is this? Because basically a stack is an empty list. When we are implementing a stack, we use an empty list. In fact, you already been doing stacks all along. It's just that we are now applying certain method, or we are now applying object-oriented programming. All right. So when I say self.items is an empty list, it simply means that the first attribute or the first characteristic of this object, or the first characteristic of a stack, or I am just going to call it the items characteristics. That items characteristics is just going to be an empty list. All right. So a stack is just an empty list, guys. Don't overthink it. All right. We've been doing lists all along. You know that an empty list can exist, right? Because an empty list contains 0 items in it. So a stack begins as an empty list. You haven't started stacking anything on top. So if I can just try to show you how is this going to work, let me just say I create an object using this class. Let me just say stack1. If I say create stack1 here, I have to write the class name. Of course, in this case, the class name is stacks, and then the parameter here. Since the parameter in the constructor method, it is self, you don't have to put anything inside the parentheses whenever you are creating the object. Why is that? Because self is actually referring to this stack1 object that you are creating. Okay, that's why I say please revisit object-oriented programming techniques before proceeding with this video. So stack1 here, it is the object that we are referring to, or the object that we are instantiating, or we can say is the object that you are creating under the class of stacks. So here, if I just say a stack1 assigned to stacks, so now I've created an object. So let me just say here created a stack. You can say this there, the object is a stack, right? So I've created a stack object, or I've created a stack. So now that I've created a stack, let me just try to see what are the items found in the stack, or what is the stack itself. Okay, so if I just say print and I say stack1, so print stack1 and I say dot items. If I say print stack1 dot items and I run this program, this is just going to give me an empty list. Okay, don't mind this error on top. It was another program, it's different from this one. So let me just rerun it so that you can see properly. So here it's just going to give me what? An empty list. Why is it giving me an empty list? Because the stack just begins as an empty list. It's just a list with nothing in there. All right, just a list with nothing in there. So since this is just a list with nothing inside, what can we do to it, or what other methods can we implement on a stack? That is what the purpose of the video of today is. All right, so since we've got an empty list, we need to be able to define some methods or some behaviors that this stack is going to have. I'm just going to call it a stack, no longer calling it an empty list. All right, so if I say I want to define the first method, I'm going to define the push method. So the push method of the stack class, it is used to add an item on top. Remember guys, when I made that conceptual example, I showed you that whenever you are applying stacks, you need to add the last item. Okay, the last item that you're gonna add, it on top. All right, you're just going to add it on top of the other items. You are not going to remove other items. You have to add on top of it. So since here we are saying that our stack is actually an empty list, so it means that we're actually adding an item at the end of an empty list, because that's the top of an empty list basically. So if I say we are defining push, the push method or the push function here is going to take the parameter self and is also going to take the parameter item. Okay, why do we even need these parameters? First of all, remember the self parameter, it is always needed because it points to a specific object. All right, it points to a specific object. For example, here, if I create this object stack1, this is the self that I'm talking about. So if I create another object and I say stack2, and I say this is stack2 is an object of the stacks class like this stack2, it is also the same thing as self. So that self is a keyword or is a parameter that is used to point to a specific object whenever you want to implement this function. All right, so now when you want to define the push method, the push method, as I've already said, is the method that is used to add it is used to do what? To add an item on top of a stack. All right, it adds on top, guys. I repeat again here. We say that on a stack we add on top of the other items. We don't add in the middle. We don't try to juggle things around. We add on top. So since here we are saying that our stack is just an empty list, so it means that we need to try and use the append method, because the append method, it is the one that can add something to a list. Because remember, guys, this empty list here is just my stack. So this is my stack. So the items in my stack, they are actually carried in a list, but it begins as an empty list. Okay, whenever I'm defining my class here, I start with an empty list. In fact, the empty list is the stack itself. So I don't want you to overthink it and think that maybe stacks are complicated. Stacks are just empty lists initially, and then you push some items to them. Pushing some items, what does that mean? Simply means that I'm adding an item to the top of the stack. To the top specifically, because I showed you that the brick, whenever you're adding a brick to a stack of bricks, you need to add it to the top. You cannot add it in the middle, programmers. All right, so here when I define my push function, I'm simply going to say this is my empty list. My empty list, its name, its variable name, it is self.items. Okay, so my empty list has got the variable name self.items. So since the variable name is self.items, okay, this self.items, what is it referring to? It is referring to this empty list. So now to this empty list, I'm going to append an item. So I'm going to add this item here. So I'm going to append, I'm going to add this item. So I'm trying to append the item, append item. Why am I appending the item? Because basically that's what the push method is. So the push method, we can just summarize it and say that the push method, it adds an item to the end, or let's just say to the top of the stack, But since we are using a list, since we are using an empty list to implement the idea of stacks, because this stacks thing is just an idea, guys. It's just an idea of things that are piled up on top of one another, okay, whereby you remove the top item first, and then whenever you add the top item, it becomes kind of like the last item, as I showed you in the bricks example. So here, whenever we say that we are adding an item to the top of a stack, it means that we are pushing. So the push method, or the push function in stack, it is basically this function that adds an item on top of the stack. All right, so the stack can be empty. The stack, it can happen that it already has got items, but the append method, you already know it from the lists. Please review my videos on the list. The append method, it is used to add items at the end of the list. But in this case, the end of the list, we are actually talking about the top of the stack. So basically the end of a list is the top of the stack. Because if I just give you an empty list, for example, programmers, and I say that I've got a list here, let me just say the list is list, and then this list, I'm going to put items 2, I'm going to put items 5, I'm going to put item 7. When I use the append method on this list, I actually add an item at the end. So it means I add an item after this 7. I repeat again, please review my videos based on list method. Okay, so whenever I use the append method, I'm trying to add an item to the end of a list. So if I add, for example, I add 8. So this 8 has been appended to the list, or it has been added at the end of the list. But since here we are trying to implement the idea of stacks, we say that this 8, it has been added, it has been pushed. We don't use the term append anymore. It has been pushed to the top of the list, or it has been pushed to the top of the stack, I mean. So basically, just know, guys, that this stacks thing is just an idea that we are trying to implement using lists. That is why we are changing this name to push. But in actual fact, we are simply appending an item, or we are simply adding an item to the end of a list. Because this type of implementation of stacks, it is a list implementation, as the video is titled. This is a list implementation of stacks. So you start with an empty list, then you append items to it. Means that you add items on top of it, on top of the stack. You now call it a stack now, but it's just an empty list. I repeat for the millionth time as we go to another method. So the other method that we can implement, or the other function that we can implement on the stacks, we have got also the pop method. So the pop method simply means that I want to remove. So I'm gonna use the pop method, and then the pop method, we should always include the self parameter, because the self refers to a specific object or to a specific stack. So here, this self here, it will definitely change to that stack that you are trying to implement this method on. For example, here I've created stack 1. Stack 1 is the first object, right? So whenever I say print stack1.items, this stack 1 is the same thing as saying self. So that self just points to a specific object that you are trying to access under that class. So when I define the pop method, whenever I say pop method, I'm trying to remove the item on the top. So I don't have to put any other parameter. I don't have to put anything else, because whenever I say pop, we already know that popping, it means that I'm removing an item on top, because I told you guys that stacks, they only use two principles. It is last in, first out. So whenever I add an item, I add on top, but when I remove it from the top. Whenever I add an item, I add it to the top of the stack, or it becomes the last item that I've added. Okay, and then when I remove it first. I remove this brick item first before I go to the other bricks. All right, so basically the pop function or the pop method, you don't have to give it any parameters or to give it anything inside these brackets, because it doesn't help with anything. The pop method, we already know that it removes the item at the top. So since we are using list here, we just need to say on our list name, it is known as items, right? So remember, this self is just referring to a specific object. So this is self.items, and then now I want to pop. So pop here, it means that I want to try and remove the item at the end. So I'm just going to say dot pop. Why do I use pop? Because lists already support this pop method. Lists have got already this method of pop, whereby the item on the top is being removed from the list. All right. So in this context, we are just making this method to also work for stacks. We're just defining it as a stack, but in actual fact, it's just the normal pop method that removes and returns the item at the last index. That is the default index here. If you can just read here the information written in this small box here, the pop function or the pop method removes and returns the item at the index. And in this case, the default index, it is the last index. That is the removing the item that is on top, okay, on top of the stack. So here we are trying to remove. So this is a pop. But now the problem is, you know that this pop thing can only work if we've got items already in our list. Let me just say I give you this empty list, which I call a stack, of course. So this empty list that I'm giving you, it doesn't have any item in it. So if I try to remove items from an empty list, it cannot work. Let me just say here, stack 1, remember this stack 1 is an empty list. Let me just try to say I pop. Let me just say pop. So if I say pop, I'm just trying to call this method here, def pop, this one. And this method will eventually pop an item from my stack. Remember the stack, when I printed it, it was just an empty list, right? So I didn't add anything to it. I'm just trying to remove something that's not there, programmers. So if I do that, this is going to give me an error. This is going to be an index error, and this index error is saying the pop from an empty list. You cannot be able to remove an item from a list with no items. I mean, you cannot be able to steal from someone who doesn't have anything. So similarly here, this stack 1, initially it is instantiated, or it is constructed as an empty list. So it doesn't have any items in it at all. So the moment you create a stack 1 object like this and you try to implement a pop on an empty list, the pop will give you an index error because there is nothing to remove. There is no item. This is different from this list that I've instantiated here in line 3. This list has got items. If I say pop, it's going to remove 8, the top item. Okay, if I continue popping, it's going to remove 7. and then remove 5, remove 2. But if it's an empty list, the moment it becomes empty, you cannot continue removing items from a list with no items. So you have to raise an error. So the keyword that we use is to raise an error. So how do you raise an error? Simply, you just say raise. Okay, so you are allowed to just do this and say you can raise an error if it happens that this thing is empty. Okay, so you can either use a try and except, or you can just raise an index error. So we can raise what we call an index error. So raise index error, it's already a built-in error there. So you raise an index error and then you give it a name. Maybe you can say cannot pop. So cannot pop from an empty list. Let me just say cannot pop from an empty list. Let me just say something like that. That's just a string message that I want to give to the user of the program that you are trying to remove from a list that is already empty. So don't even try to do that. So let me just say here, since we want this pop, remember the pop function is defined here. It says it removes and then it returns. Okay, that's two things then. So the pop function, it removes the item at the last index and it also returns that item. So we need to use the return keyword, of course, so that we can be able to say it returns something. So this return here is trying to say that it's going to remove the item. So this pop is going to remove the item, but it's going to return it back. So please watch my lesson 5 again based on lists, because I explained that the pop function, it doesn't only remove, it removes and it also tells you what it has removed. Okay, let's just try to see if this will work, and then let me just run my program. It's going to say index error pop from empty list. Okay, so we need to try and handle our error. So if we can just say this line of code, if I can just put it here, I can just say try, right? I can just say try to return the item, try to remove the item and return it. This is a try. Remember the try and except, how does it work? You try to implement a certain thing, but if it happens that that thing will give you an error, what do you need to do? You need to try to handle that error. So you have to write an except here and say except, and then now you say except print. Maybe you can say print cannot remove from an empty stack. Let me just say cannot pop from an empty stack. All right, so here what did we fix here? We are trying to just fix this error to just say if the user uses this program and then the program tries to remove and return the item, but the list is empty, it doesn't have anything, then it cannot work. So since it cannot work, since this line of code in line 11 cannot work, then it's going to print to the user this print function cannot pop from an empty list. So if we try it again, it's just going to give us none. So basically this none here, why are we getting the none? First of all, it's going to write cannot pop from an empty stack, and after that it's going to give you a none. So this none simply tells us that this doesn't have any return value, because remember that when a function gives you a none, it simply means that it does not have any return value. So tonight what we want to do, we want to say the moment this program prints this thing, the code must exit. So I'm just going to write exit here to just say that the moment the code tries to return this value and sees which the stack is empty, or the stack is just an empty list, so it cannot pop anything, it's first going to print this message. It's going to say cannot pop from an empty list, and after that it's going to exit the code immediately. So it's not going to try and implement the pop function anymore. Rather, it's just going to give you the error. So if you run the program again, now it's going to say cannot pop from an empty stack. So this is you handling the error. This is the possible error that you can have whenever you're using the pop method, because the pop method cannot be able to remove from an empty list, because remember the stack begins as an empty list unless you push some items to it. Okay, let me just say I want to avoid this error. Let's just push some couple of items to this stack. So to this stack, what am I going to do? I'm going to push some items. I'm just going to say stack 1. I already know that stack 1 is an object of the stacks class, and it is an empty list as implemented here. So if I say I want to try and push, so I can just say push method. Remember the push method there, I say that we are trying to append an item to that empty list, aka the stack. So here if I say push and I say I want to push which item, remember the push function here as we defined it, it also has got the item here. So you need the self here, you don't mention it because the self refers to the what? To the specific object. But you need to mention the item that you are trying to push into the stack, the item that you are trying to add onto the stack, on top of the stack. So right now, if I say push 5, it simply means that now my stack 1 is no longer going to be an empty list, but instead is also going to have an element 5. Okay, so if I even say print my stack 1, if I just say print stack 1, let me just say I'm printing stack 1. If I print stack 1, okay, stack 1 dot items, I mean, because remember when I'm referring to the list itself, I'm referring to stack 1 dot items. If I just say print self, is going to give me the memory address, which is not what I want. So if I say print stack 1 dot items, it's going to give me 5. You see, it's no longer empty, right? At first it was giving me an empty list. I still remember I got an empty list at some point, but now the list is no longer empty. The list is now having what? Is now having 5 in it. Why is the list now having 5? It's because I've decided to push an item. So I can be able to now use the pop function now. If I say print, let me just say print stack 1. Now that I've pushed 5 into the stack, I can now say pop. If I just say pop function, so this pop function immediately is going to do what? To remove that 5, because there is an item to remove. It's no longer going to raise an error. Rather, it's going to remove the item and it's going to return it, because when I defined it, I say that this function must return this. So it's going to remove and return that exactly as it is, because there is an item. It cannot raise any error. So this line of code, which is line 11, it will be successful. So that's the pop function. Okay, so if I just go back to my bricks example, let me just say I don't have any bricks right now. Okay, I don't have any bricks. So let's just say here, this is where the bricks were, but I don't have any bricks here. I don't have any bricks anymore. It's just an empty space. So if I say remove a brick here, it's going to be an error. Okay, but if I push one brick on top, let me just say I push one brick on top. Let me just say I push this brick on top. Now you can say now my stack has got something. So if I do the pop, it's not going to raise an error. It's going to be able to remove successfully. You get the sense, right? So now we can define more methods here under the stack's data structures, or we can define more methods under the stack class. So we can define a method to try and test if the stack is an empty one or is not empty. Remember, when you say that the stack is empty here, we're implying that it is an empty list, because we're implementing the stacks using lists, right? So if I say I'm defining the method which is going to be an isEmpty, so the method which is empty there. So the isEmpty basically will check whether the list is empty or not, and it will return true if the list is empty, and to return false if the list is not empty. So based of all, we need to return a Boolean expression. So we need to return the length of self.items, and then we need to return 0. Okay, why did I write this? Basically, when a list is empty, its length is equal to 0. Okay, in other words, when a list is empty, then it means that the length of self.items must be 0. Remember, self.items is referring to an empty list initially, right? So the moment I say isEmpty method, it means that it must return me the length of self.items is equals to 0, because self.items is referring to an empty list. So this one is not just a one-way expression, because it is a Boolean expression. It has got two possibilities. This one is a Boolean expression. So if it happens that I try to pass this method on an object or on a stack that has got items in it already, it's going to give me a false, because basically the length of those items will not be equal to 0. For example, if I just go back to this list of mine, this list of mine is having 1, 2, 3, 4. It's having 4 items in it, or 4 elements in it. So the length of this list is 4, because it's having 4 elements or 4 items in it. All right. So here, if I claim that I'm going to pass this method, which is isEmpty, on this list, this is going to be a false Boolean expression, or this is going to be a false logical expression, because the length of that list is not equal to 0. So this will return true. So this method it returns true. If self.items, remember the self.items we are referring to the stack, right? So if the stack is empty, or if the stack has got the length of 0, means that the empty list does not have any items in it, because remember this self.items is just an empty list, right? So this is empty method is used to test whether the stack is empty or it is full. Okay, so if you take note carefully here on my pop method definition, when I define the pop method, I had to use the exit condition here so that I can avoid the none, because remember when we printed without the exit option here, it was giving us none because there was no return value, right? So instead of writing this exit, you can just try to change our logic a bit when it comes to the pop function, because now you know how to test whether the stack is empty or not. We can just change this logic a bit, because this exit will completely exit the entire program. Okay, so if this exit exits the entire program, it's not going to be so much good for the user. So what can I do? I can just say if self dot is empty. So let me just say if self dot is empty, and then I put this method is empty, then it means that this is supposed to do what? This is supposed to print cannot pop. Let me just print it as a string and say this is going to say cannot pop from an empty stack. Okay, cannot pop from an empty stack. All right, let's just talk about this. So here I am trying to modify my pop method definition by simply using the is empty, because the is empty tells me whether the stack is empty or it is not empty. Remember, it returns true if it happens that the length of the stack is 0, but if not, it's going to return false. That's obvious. So now if it happens that self dot is empty, it simply means that if it happens that this is in true condition, if it happens that the items here in the stack are 0 items, if it happens that your stack is an empty stack, because remember the if statements, they need this condition to be true so that they can proceed and print this. So in this case, if it happens that self.empty, or if it happens that this condition is true, meaning that our stack is empty, then this is going to print cannot pop from an empty stack. But then besides that, we can just say this is going to return none. Okay, why are we returning none here? To just say there is no value to return if you cannot pop anything. Remember, if the list is empty, you cannot pop anything from it, so you cannot be able to return a value. Remember, the pop function is supposed to remove and return a value. So here we're going to say return none so that it doesn't return any value when you create an actual object. But besides that, let's just say this condition is not met. We need to return the what? We need to return a self.items.pop. Okay, so if it happens that your list is not empty, it means all of these conditions are not going to be met, or all of these lines, these lines of code from line 11 until line 18, all of it is not going to be implemented because your self is not empty, or this condition is false, right? So here instead it's going to return self.items.pop. Remember, the self.items.pop, already discussed it, that it actually returns the item that has been removed. So it removes the item and also returns it as well. So this must return the item that has been removed, provided that this is not empty. Okay, so this is just another way of just defining our pop function so that our program doesn't exit or our program does not crash out. So this is known as an is empty. So now we go to the pick method. So the pick method here of the stacks class, it is used to just pick. Okay, it is just used to pick on the top item. So when we're talking about picking, it simply means that we just want to see what is on the top of the stack. For example, if we go back to our bricks example, currently this brick is on top, right? So basically pick simply means try to see what's on top. It's just about seeing what's on top. It's not all about removing it. So remember the pop function, it was removing. Okay, it was removing the top item. All right, the push was adding the item to the top of the stack. But when I say pick, it simply means I just want to look at this. I just want to return this item. If this brick is named a Bricado, it means that I just want to return Brigado. That's what I'm trying to say. So basically the pick function must only be able to return what's on top. Okay, if this is you and then this is other people on the bottom, we're gonna say that you are on top. So we're gonna say return you. It's just gonna return who's on top of the other. It's not really going to remove it. But remember, the pop function, it first removes and then returns that item that was found on top. So the pick function and the pop function, they are very similar to one another, but the pick function only returns the item that is found on top of the list or on top of the stack. So for example, if we look at this list here having 2, 5, 7, 8, 8 here is on top of the stack. If we consider our list to be a stack, okay? So 8 is on top of the stack. So when we use the pick method, it's just going to print 8 alone, or it's just going to return 8. It's not going to remove it. It's just going to return the item that is found at the top. In this case, which is 8. Okay, so here the pick, how can we define it? So the pick can have possible errors if it happens that they don't have anything inside the list. So if it happens that our stack is an empty stack, our stack is not having any item in it. Let me just say this. Let's just say this is an empty stack. This box here is just a blue box with nothing in it. Okay, so if I say remove a brick from a blue box with no brick inside, this must give us an error because there's no item to remove. So the moment you try to even look at the item, the moment you try to pop or pick on this item, you're gonna get key errors. You're gonna get errors. I mean, all right. So for the pop function, we already handled the error because we say that for the pop function, we can be able to get an error if it happens that this is an empty stack by using this isEmpty method. So similarly for the pick function, we're just gonna say if it happens that the stack is an empty one. So if stack is empty, then it means that if this condition is true, remember when you say stack is empty, it means that this condition is true. The length of the items inside the stack is 0. That is what this method means, self.empty or self.isEmpty. So here, if it happens that your stack is empty and you are trying to look at the item on the top, there is no item in the stack at all, so you cannot even proceed with it, right? So you have to raise that error. Maybe you can just print the error and you can say maybe you can raise the error, or you can print the error. It's still the same thing. So you can raise the error. Usually the error that we usually have here is an index error. So we usually raise an index error because the index error basically happens if it happens that you are trying to look for an index that does not exist inside the list. Okay, in this case, you are trying to look for an item that is not even in the list itself. So that will give you an index error. And then you can now just write in your index error, you can just say that anything that you want. You can say that cannot pick what's not there. Hey, I don't know if my English makes sense here, but it cannot pick what's not there. You cannot be able to see whatever is not there. There's nothing inside, because when you say that this is empty, it means that the length is 0. This condition is true. So there's nothing inside your stack. So you cannot be able to pick anything from something that's not there. So I'm just gonna say cannot pick what's not there. All right. But if it happens that there's something inside your thing, inside your stack, then you're gonna say return the item that is found on top of the stack. Because remember, the pick, as I've already told you guys, on the stack, it actually looks for the item on top. In this case, we're talking about this brick that is found on top. Remember, this is the brick found on top. So basically, this is the item. If we are using a list, in this case, we're using a list. This is the item that is found at the end of the list. That is the item on the top of the stack. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so remember, how do we access items in a list? Since we're using a list implementation here, we use what? We use an index to access that. And to access the last item, it is more convenient to use the negative indexing. The last item, it is found on index -1. I covered that in my previous video introducing list indexing. Please watch that first before even proceeding with this one. Okay, the last item of a list, which is the top item of a stack, it is found on the index -1. So I'm gonna say return self.items. So I'm gonna say return self.items. I'm gonna say index. Sorry, that's gonna be index -1. So this is going to return the item that's gonna be found on index -1. The index -1, what is it? Index -1 is the last item of the list, and in this case our list is representing a stack. Okay, so here we can just try to test these methods and try to see if these work or they do not work. So I've created my stack here. This is stack 1 is equals to stacks. But now let's just say now I want to try and see my stack. Okay, let me just say I want to try and see and view what's inside my stack. You know, I don't like printing, always saying print stack 1.items. All of that is a bit boring. So we can just create a method to be able to represent the items inside the stack. So I'm going to create the rep method. So we're going to create the rep method. So the rep method simply tries to see or tries to view what are the items that are found in your stack, or it tries to view what are the items. Yes, all the items. So it must be able to return you self.items, because remember the self.items, we are referring to the stack itself, or the empty list, the one that starts as an empty list before you push anything to it. All right, so here this is going to return self.items. Okay, self.items. So if I say return self.items, I want it to be returned as a string in most cases, so that it can be able to be displayed in a console. Okay, I want it as a string. So let's just say now let's implement all of these methods all at once. We have got stack 1 here, which is an object of the stacks class. So having this stack 1, let me just say I want to see the stack. Okay, I just want to view the stack, or just want to see it. I just want to see it. So if I say print and I say stack 1 and I say dot rep, if I say dot rep in this way, so if I say print stack 1 dot rep, what is it going to give me? It's going to give me an empty list. Yes, because really I've already said that my stack is going to be an empty list initially. The moment I instantiate or initialize an object of the stacks class, in this case the object is stack 1, the moment I initialize the stack 1 object, it's automatically going to be an empty list. Then now I can do a couple of things to it. I can push, I can pop, I can do whatever it is. So I can just come to my stack 1 and I say stack 1, I want to try and push some couple of items to it. Since it's an empty list, you already know that by default it's going to be created as an empty list, right? So now if I say stack 1 push 2, it means that I'm trying to push this to be the last item on the stack. So this is going to push 2, but if I run the program, it won't show me anything until I kind of print my thing. If I print my stack 1, so if I say print stack 1 dot rep, remember the rep method that I've designed here, it is just to display the contents, or is to display the items found in the stack. So if I do just that, it's going to give me 2. So you can now see that my list has got now 2. It was an empty list at first, but now my stack 1, this stack 1 object, now it's got 2. Let me just say I'm going to remove, right? I'm going to pop. Let's just say I'm going to pop from this stack 1. I'm going to say pop. Basically, this stack 1 pop function here is going to check first of all if the list is empty or not. If the list is empty, it's going to print cannot pop from an empty stack. Okay, but now if it has got some items in it, in this case we already know that we have pushed 2 into it. The moment we try to print this this stack 1 again, if we say print stack 1 dot rep, now we're gonna just say print stack 1 dot rep. We just want to try and print the contents of stack 1. The contents of stack 1 are still going to give us what? They are still going to give us an empty list. Let me just put here my parentheses and then we run the code. When we run the code, now my stack 1 is now an empty list again. Yes, I've pushed 2 on line 28, and on line 30 I've popped, so I've removed that item that is found. So now whenever I do the stack 1.rep, I already know that this is going to give me what? This is going to give me an empty list, because I'm now removing the 2 again. So let's just try to see if this empty method is working. So this one, where is it? The is empty method. All right, let me just say I create stack 1 there. So I've got stack 1 at that point, and I try to see if stack 1 is empty or not. If I say print and I say print stack 1 dot is empty, and then remember the is empty, it must have parentheses. So if I say stack 1 dot is empty, basically this is gonna say this is true, because initially when I build my stack 1, I build it such that it is an empty list. an empty list with a length of 0. Okay, so this Boolean expression would be true. But if it happens that I push some items first, let's say that on my stack 1 I decide to push an item, push 6 into the stack, and I rerun my program, this is now gonna be false because it's no longer empty anymore. So these are just the methods that you can use under the stacks class. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends to also stay tuned.